Have you ever landed in a place that felt very, very familiar, but at the same time, it really, really didn't? No matter how much your Uncle Jim Beam may have tried to help you, there was just something slightly off. Well, I got some stories for you. Hi, I'm Rick Higgins, and this is the Pirate Wanderer. We are mastering the second half of life. Hula hoops. Yes, I said hula hoops. That is story number 1. In the United States, we have this imaginary circle around us. I call it a hula hoop. It's your personal space where no one is allowed in. As you're moving, it moves with you. It doesn't exist in Europe. Now, this is one of those things that drives me absolutely crazy, and I think it has a large part to do with, I don't know how they do it. I've actually sat down and watched, and you see these large groups of people, and then all of a sudden they're past each other, and everyone's still laughing, and I don't know how they did that part. There's an answer. I know there's an answer, and maybe one day I'll figure it out. But in the meantime, this personal space hula hoop thing, it's almost like some of them weaponize their hoops. And like you're in a grocery store and there's a giant aisle, they're going to take up the entire aisle. And the biggest thing is they're not really going to care. They're just going to sit there and they're going to shop and they go on their little merry way. And if you say, excuse me, disculpe, con permiso, they're just going to sit there and look at you like, eh? So yeah, that's the thing for me. It's probably my biggest thing. All the other stories I'm about to tell you, I've kind of got a grip on them. I kind of understand them. I kind of got used to them. But on this one, it's a work in progress. All right, story number 2. And this is what started out as a typical American kind of thing, turned out to be the weirdest thing ever and very frustrating for me. I had to go to the store, the supermarket, supermercado, and I had to pick up some basic things like coffee, milk, eggs, and whatnot. Coffee was okay. It was where I expected it. The milk, not so much. In America, you go to the refrigerated section, you get the big old gallon jug of milk, and off you go. They don't have big old gallon jugs of milk. They really don't. And they're not in the refrigerated section either. They're the little super box compressed, mega pasteurized things, and are on the shelf somewhere in the middle of the aisle. Okay, that, little weird, little frustrating. I did finally find them. Then came the eggs. I couldn't find the eggs. Where would you think the eggs are? To me, they're back in the refrigerated section. I am looping. Everything that even looks remotely refrigerated, I'm looking at. And guess what? There's no eggs. I'm going, and bear in mind, there's only 4 aisles in this whole store. I'm going up and down. I'm getting pissed. How can somebody not have eggs? And then I went back on that aisle where the milk was. To the left and slightly down were the eggs. They keep them unrefrigerated. They keep them in boxes on a shelf next to the milk. Now the weirdest thing is, okay, not the weirdest thing. That was the weirdest thing. The second weirdest thing was, they don't break. In America, the first thing you do is you open up that box of 12 and you thumb, and oh look, 4 of them are broken, you toss it, you keep going till you find one that they're all nice and pristine. I have never seen a broken egg in Spain, regardless of this weird shelf packaging. They don't break, ever. But I will tell you one thing, the weirdness is worth it because you have never had eggs before. Trust me, you have never had them. Go to Spain, you open them, they're a different color, they're a different taste. Can I say, go get some eggs. Okay, story number 3 and story number 4, similar but different. Let's start with the similar. People in Spain don't go to your house, and it needs some explanation. In America, we would have a dinner party. We would invite someone over, they would come up, we'd have drinks, we'd have food, we'd laugh, we'd carry on, they would go home. That doesn't happen in Barcelona. What happens is you meet somebody outside at a cafe. Now, I don't know the reason for this. It's almost like they're embarrassed to go up to your house, or they're embarrassed because they have to reciprocate. There's something, I don't know what they are, but nobody comes up. You always meet outside. Now, I thought this was just hearsay, one of those Spanish things that may or may not be true. And then it happened. We had some friends, Alexandra and her boyfriend. We were supposed to meet them to go to dinner. Well, they got there early or late. It was probably late because it was Spain after all. And so we invited them up. They were on their motorcycle, like, hey, come on up, let's have a drink. Leave your helmets here. And the look on their faces was like, no. They came up, they would not put their helmets down, and she's gonna kill me when she watches this, but it really happened. They wouldn't put their helmets down, and when it was time to leave, we didn't even have the drink. They took everything with them. Now, I found that a little odd, because in America we love being social. We love having picnics and barbecues, and sidebar, picnic does not mean the same thing in Spain as it does in America. In America, a picnic is let's get a whole bunch of food and we're gonna go eat it. In Spain, a picnic is let's get a whole bunch of people and go to the park and just hang around. Nobody brings food. We did the first time. We learned. We had enough for everyone, and they were staring at us like, you're gonna eat all that? No, we're sharing it. We don't eat food on picnics. Anyway, I digress. Continuing with story number 3. So you always go outside and you spend all your time at an outdoor cafe because it's always warm and it's always sunny, and that's just kind of what you do. Now, to me, that was a little odd, but I got used to it because I really like going outside. All right, continuing on with number 4, Quattro, and it has a little bit to do with the outside. Now, the cultural oddity here is timing. In Spain, breakfast isn't. You have a cup of coffee and a piece of bread. At some point, off you go. Lunch is usually around 2, and it's a very, very, very heavy meal. It's your biggest one of the day. Now, we're going to get into a little bit of siesta time here. I think siesta time is driven by the fact that they ate so much damn food at lunch. But lunch is the big one, which means when do you think you eat dinner? Well, you don't eat dinner until around 9:30 or 10. And you do that because there ain't no restaurants open. All right, so what do? I get off work at 8 usually. I work from 12 to 8 to kind of keep my hours similar to New York. So at 8 o'clock, you're hungry. Ain't no restaurants open. You go out to that cafe, those outdoor cafes I mentioned, and you eat there. You have some tapas, which are like little appetizers, and you have your cerveza and your copa de vino or whatever else you're drinking. And you spend a couple hours there, maybe with friends at an outdoor cafe, talking. A couple hours later, maybe a couple bars at cafes later, you sit down and you eat dinner. That will probably take another 2 hours because the other cultural oddity is nobody gets up from the table. Nikki calls it sur la table, which is weird because that's French and we were in Spain. But literally, you sit there and you spend outside and you talk and you talk and you gab and you smile and you talk. And then later on, maybe you'll have some more tapas. But to me, that was initially an oddity, but I came to love it because it really matches my circadian rhythm. Oddity number 4 was simply the late hours. Now, here's another little fun fact for you. In the summertime, the sun is still up at 10:30 or 11. I heard the story that Franco wanted to align himself more closely with the other dictators. He wanted to be closer to their time. So he moved everything an hour. So literally at 10:30 at night in the summer, the sun is a lot like this. 11 o'clock, you can still see to read. So I guess by that time, it's really kind of cool that you're outside and you've still got sunlight. It's just you really don't know what time it is, and you're probably going to be getting home around 2 in the morning. All right, this isn't a cultural oddity, but I'm going to throw in a little bonus fun fact. The siesta in Spain. It's a thing, but it's not like the, cartoons of, oh, I'm going to take a siesta because I am Slowpoke Rodriguez. That's Mexico, and I don't know if they do it or not, but we're in Spain. So, do they have a siesta? Kind of. What happens is in the afternoons, around 2 when everyone starts going to lunch, the shops start shutting down. All the markets kind of close up. Maybe the big ones stay open, but the smaller ones, they're done. Now, they don't typically go home. They're not going to go take a nap. Some do. A lot of the folks will just simply go do their errands. They're going to do their thing. They're going to relax. They're going to sur la table with their friends. And they open back up around 5, 6, or 7 o'clock. Now, they continue working. So the Spanish mindset of work is sleep little, work, rest, hang out, work, repeat. Now, me personally, I think that's pretty cool. The pace of life in Spain is remarkable to me. Yes, they work hard. They work very hard. But they don't work to work. They work to enjoy life. And I think that's a key difference that I've really embraced when I get over there. Soon, which is the last story I'm going to tell you. In case you haven't caught it in another video, we're going back May 1st, which is in, I don't know, there's not a calendar on my watch, so I have no idea why I did that. May 1st. May 1st, we are flying back. Now, there is a huge difference to this time. The previous 2 times we've been to Barcelona has been on a tourist visa, which means we can go for 3 months at a time, and then we have to leave for 3 months at a time. We are going back on a non-lucrative visa. There is another video and a whole playlist actually in the making. Look somewhere down there, you'll find the links for it. I will promise to put them in. But anyway, a non-lucrative visa means basically we're moving there. We have to be in Spain 183 days out of every year. Oh darn, I know everyone is like sobbing because we have to go back. Now, me personally, I can't wait. There is something about Barcelona. Nikki said it once, and I think it was very, very clever, is that you can be homesick for a place that you've never been before. And that's how we first felt when we landed. It's how we first felt when we landed again. And I know it's how we're going to feel when we go back. I love that city. The eggs in the aisles, the weird milk, the hula hoops that people get inside of, everything about it still makes me smile, makes me happy, and I can't wait to go back. And starting May 1st, we're going to take you with us. And once we get there, we're going to start taking you all around. So for right now, you're getting a whole lot of travel tips and fun facts, but in a few short, I don't know why I did that again. Now with that, oh, by the way, have you looked around while I was doing this last few shots? I'm actually sitting on my boat. I'm still in Key Largo, Florida right now. And what you saw earlier was our dock. And that's kind of a downside because we're going to be leaving this. Up until now, this is what we've done, and then we went to Barcelona and came back to this, and now we're going to kind of reverse it. It is very beautiful. If you've never been to Key Largo or any of the Florida Keys, you really got to come down. And if you want, come down before May, and I'll take you out on the dock, and if I ever get this damn boat fixed, I'll take you out on it too. But anyway, Key Largo, Barcelona soon. What's your line? Your line is, say it with me, be a pirate and go wander.